Question 7, the Daily Doom. Does anybody have an answer for part A? Sonny, be brave. What have you got for part A?
0.057.
That's the correct answer. Yep, okay. For part A, you've got a binomial here if you want to do it. What's n, Sonny?
8.
Yeah, and what's p?
0.7.
Okay. And yeah, that's right. And you want probably x is 8. They put in the formula here. They're using q in here instead of 1 minus p in this book. And that's how they're writing their combination thing. But yeah, that's right. Okay. Exactly right in what you said. Part B of the question was, well, part A was all of them. Part B is none of them. So it's the same thing now. But this time we've still got the n is 8. We've still got the p is 0.7. But now we have r is 0. And if you do that for part B, you get a very small answer indeed. 0.000006561. That 6 is the 5th thing after the decimal point.
Are they all out? What they all out?
What marks wise?
Yeah.
Should we say that first one's out of 2 and that one there is out of 2 as well? Okay. Part C was probably exactly 3 people that they've worked out here to be 0.0467. That's another 2 marks. That's just a straightforward use of the formula. Are we okay up to here? Right, now the next one, the most likely probability, or the most likely number, you had to do a bit of lateral thinking there. Does anybody reckon they have an answer for part D? And how did you go about doing it? Ben?
I put 6, but I don't know if my explanation is correct.
Right, what's your explanation? Because 6 is the right answer.
It sounds stupid, but I thought because it's 70% of 8, that would be 5 points. But I don't know if that's
right. Okay.
Because, or if that was just a coincidence.
Right.
I don't know if it's a coincidence or if
it's not a coincidence. I can see the logic you're going through behind it. I'm trying to think whether that would always work, and then you just rounded the whole number, haven't you?
I just rounded it to 6.
Yeah, there's a logic in what you've done. Okay. The precise way of doing it, I will show you, because we hadn't actually looked at it before. You could work out all the probabilities and see which is the biggest, but that would take quite a long time. Yeah, if you use the tables, okay, the greatest probability is where the biggest gap between numbers in the tables are. So this is a bit of the table for that question, which I've stuck on here. So, for example, the gap between 2 numbers here, because these are running total numbers, the gaps between them are the individual probabilities. So if you work out some of the gap numbers, which I've done here, the biggest gap number was this 0.2915. And that came from the less than or equal to 6 and the less than or equal to 5 one here. So if that's the biggest gap, that is the probability less than or equal to 6, take away the probability less than or equal to 5, and that is the probability at 6. So that's the proper sort of way of doing it that will work every single time. Go to the tables. The greatest probability will be the biggest gap you can find.
So do I still get the marks?
You got the right answer. I'll be generous today. Yes, you got the marks.
Tables, then I just put my answer down.
2 marks.
So I didn't actually write it down.
Oh, all right then, have it. 2 marks. Okay. Try and remember that in future, though. In future, if I was doing that in an exam, I would write down the 2 rows I'm interested in the tables, so they know exactly where I've got it from. I've got my gap. I've shown I know exactly what rows they are and what that means. Okay? Part E. If there are 40 compartments on the train, how many would you expect there to be? Exactly 3 copies. We've already worked out the probability of 3 copies to be 0.0467. So we just times that by 40. We've already got that probability from part C. So if you want to know how many you'd expect out of 40, just times it by 40. It came out to be 1.87. We'll just have 1 mark for that one. Part F. The train is so full in each carriage, 10 people are standing.
Wait, hang on.
Sorry, we're going back to part E.
Yeah, you can't have like a 0.88 of a thing, so surely it should be...
I know, but it's if you're expecting in the long run, if you're expecting to do something, it's like the NP calculation. it won't necessarily give you a whole number answer.
Okay.
But in the long run, you would expect, on average, for there to be 1.83 people, or whatever it is, 1.87.
I put equals 1.88 and then equals 1.
I'll give you half a mark for now. In the exam, they would want that decimal exact, and no rounding should happen there.
Okay.
Because that's an expectation, it's an average. Averages are allowed to go into decimals, whereas individual values couldn't.
Okay.
Yep.
How many marks was C?
C was probably worth. Let's have a quick look. C was worth 2. A, B, and C were all worth 2. Okay. D was worth 2. E was worth 1. F. We've now got 10 people, and we're now moving away from the binomial to the geometric distribution. We haven't got a fixed number of people that we're going through. We know there are 10 in a carriage, but we want, what's the probability the third will be the first person? So that's the geometric distribution. It's failing and then getting a success. So I'm now looking at the geometric distribution. P is still 0.7. Formula for the geometric we had was 1 minus p to the r minus 1 times by p. R is 3. So you need 2 failures and then your success. So the failure times success. That gave it to be 0.063. We'll give 2 marks for that. If you didn't even realise it was geometric, but still did that sum and got the answer, you'll still get full marks.
If you do the proper geometric way.
That is the proper geometric way.
I did 1 minus 0.7 to
Yep.
the power of 3 minus 1 times 0.7.
That's exactly this here. That's exactly that. Yeah, that's exactly that. That's fine. That is the proper way to do it, if you like. That's fine. We should have got that answer. Okay?
Why is there a geometric question and binomial distribution in it?
Because it's in the same chapter. They were in the same chapter in the book. And remember, in the exam, they're not signposted up what they are anyway, so you've got to expect a bit of this and a bit of that in a question. Final one, part G, the mean number of buyers. Well, back to binomial now. N is 10, P is 0.7, the mean is N times P, 10 times by 0.7 is 7, that's 1 mark. So I reckon that was out of 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2 and 1, which is 12, I think. 2, 2, 2, 2, yeah, that's out of 12.